Brooke Shields became famous when she was just 15 years old for her role as Emmeline in the movie The Blue Lagoon. But soon she almost stopped appearing in films. Now, 43 years have passed. What does the 58-year-old Brooke Shields look like today? What is she doing? And how has her life turned out since then? But before we begin, don't forget to click subscribe if you want more stories in the future. Let's get started. Brooke Krista Shields was born on May 31, 1965 in New York. Her mother, Terry Schman, was a model trying to conquer the silver screen. She came from a poor and large Catholic Jewish family. The father, 24-year-old businessman Frank Shields, was a secular man and had Italian and French aristocrats among his ancestors. From birth, Brooke became not just her mother's favorite child, but an investment item. Over the years, the girl brought in good money. The actress's mother, Terry, was a model in the past, but that was not enough for her. She met Frank Shields. His father was a famous tennis player and actor, and his mother was an Italian noblewoman and one of America's leading socialites. His relatives were not satisfied with a provincial girl with greedy eyes as their son's girlfriend. When it turned out that she was pregnant, Frances's parents gave her money for an abortion and asked her not to bother them anymore. Terry took the money, but she didn't have an abortion. Frances, as an honest and not very far-sighted young man, promised Terry that he would marry her and they would create a strong and friendly family. Unfortunately, their marriage didn't turn out well, and within 6 months, it fell apart. Terry put immense effort into persuading Brooke that her father was a bad person, doing everything possible to make Brooke hate him. But it was only years later that the actress understood that her mother's contentious nature was actually responsible for the family falling apart. From the first birth of her daughter, Terry did everything to raise Brooke to be a star. She continued to work in the modeling business and took her with her everywhere to shoot. It was this circumstance that contributed to the fact that Brooke's first appearance on the screen took place at 11 months. Since childhood, she took part in fashion shows, studied ballet, took horse riding lessons, and played the piano. Her mother strictly monitored her diet and took her to beauty salons. Afraid of losing control over her, she limited her communication with her peers. Until the 8th grade, Brooke studied at a private school in New York, New Lincoln School, then at Dwight Englewood School in Englewood, New Jersey. Due to her hectic schedule, Brooke struggled academically, lacking knowledge expected from elementary school. Despite this, Terry persisted, prioritizing Brooke's growing fame over her educational development, fearing that too much time spent studying might jeopardize Brooke's rising celebrity status. At the age of 9, the stunningly beautiful girl made her debut on television as the daughter of the main character, Quentin, in the drama After the Fall. A year later, as the media wrote at the time, she reached such an exciting seductiveness that her mother agreed to her participation in a nude photo shoot, Woman and Child, by photographer Harry Gross. In the photo, Brooke, still a child, but with quite adult and even predatory makeup, stood in the shower, wearing only a necklace. At the age of 10, she posed for Playboy, becoming the youngest model in the history of the magazine. Vulgar makeup, a complete lack of clothing, and inviting poses. Society was outraged that such a blatant display of a child's body could be published in a magazine. The name Shields became so widely known for the first time. Many years later, the now adult Brooke sued Playboy in order to seize all copies of that photo shoot. However, the court did not find anything wrong in these photographs. At the age of 12, Brooke was offered to star in the Frank movie Pretty Child. In this film, Brooke tried on the role of a prostitute. Soon after the release of the scandalous film, she became the face of an advertisement and appeared on the cover of Vogue, becoming the youngest and highest paid model, $10,000 a day. 3 years later, an advertisement for Calvin Klein jeans comes out, where 15-year-old Brooke, looking into the camera, says,
You want to know what comes between me and my Calvins? Nothing.
A lot of accusations fell on the brand. The scandal was so enormous that the advertisement was taken off the air, and the release of the jeans model that Shields demonstrates in the video was suspended for 18 years. In the same year, the role of Emmeline in the film The Blue Lagoon, 1980, brought Brooke an Oscar and Golden Globe nomination, and also made Shields a sex symbol of the 80s. During filming, Brooke's hair was pre-attached with tape so that her breasts were not completely visible. The audience demanded a continuation of the fairy tale story, and a year later the next film, Endless Love, was released, which was recognized as the best film, and Brooke received the title Face of the 80s. Meanwhile, Brooke had a hard time coping with the world of show business that had absorbed her. The girl was a frequent patient of the psychiatrist and struggled with nervous breakdowns and depression. There were many high-profile romances in her life: John Travolta, Prince Albert II of Monaco, Nicolas Cage, Liam Neeson, and even the king of pop Michael Jackson. The affair with the latter grew into a tender friendship between two grown-up children without childhood. But serious relationships did not work out for her. Terry dreamed of marrying Brooke to Japanese Prince Hiro Naruhito or Prince Albert of Monaco. But the girl's pride began to awaken. She could no longer follow her mother like a submissive slave. Brooke had completely different plans for her life. Instead of an arranged marriage, she wanted to pursue education, and there she met her husband, the famous tennis player Andrew Agassi, at the age of 32. But this marriage lasted only 2 years. Later, on the set of the series Unpredictable Susan, Brooke met director Chris Henchy. In 2001, he became her husband after the couple tied the knot on April 4, 2001. Shields and Henchy welcomed their first daughter, Rowan Frances Henchy, in 2003. 3 years later, Shields gave birth to their second daughter, Greer Hammond Henchy, in 2006. With Chris, I was able to become an adult and confident. I am no longer a lost girl, but a beloved wife and mother. And I will be happy even if I stop being an actress and model, Brooke told to People. Now Brooke is 58 years old. She is a happy mother and beloved wife. She devotes herself entirely to her family and appears in films a little, but prefers to devote more time to her daughters and husband. Brooke looks great and says that she has never felt so happy. She has long spoken only negatively about her mother. Recently, Shields said a phrase that completely shows how she feels about both her mother and her unusual childhood. Show business is not the most healthy environment for a child. I will not allow my daughters to be perceived as a beautiful doll, a glossy cover character by everyone, including hundreds of maniacs. What do you think of Brooke Shields' story? That's all for this video, and please don't forget to click on subscribe if you want more stories in the future. Thank you for watching.